In this video, we're going to talk about dot plots. Dot plots are a graph which each data value is represented by a point or a dot. So when we're creating these dot plots, we need to make sure that every single data value is represented. So in my first question, a survey was given asking people how many pairs of shoes they owned. What you need to do is create a dot plot using the results below. So these results, this list of numbers right here, shows that someone said 2 pairs of shoes, 1 pair of shoes, 3 pairs of shoes, 4 pairs of shoes, and so on and so forth. So when I create my graph, first thing I'm going to do is label my axis. This is number of pairs of shoes. And since I need to make sure that every single data value is represented, I need to go through my numbers, find the smallest value, and go to the largest value. So smallest value is a 1, 2 is represented, 3 is represented, 4 is represented, 5 is represented. Highest value represented is a 6. So in a graph, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So from here, all I'm going to do is take a number and represent it as a point. So 1 pair of shoes, 3 pair of shoes, 4 pair of shoes, 2, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1, 4, 1, 2, 2, 1, 4, 3, 6, 2. So now this graph just helps me visually see all the data points and what it looks like. From here I can still calculate things like the mean, the median, and mode, but it also gives me a little bit more information of what the data values look like now. So first thing I'm going to do with this graph is calculate the mean. It's the same thing as before. You're going to add up all the values and divide up by the total number of data points there are. So in this case, I have 5 ones right here. So I have 5 points that have a value of 1. I'm going to add my 6 points that have a value of 2, plus my 3 points that have a value of 3, plus my 3 points that have a value of 4, plus my 1 point that has a value of 5, plus my 1 point that has a value of 6, and divide that by the total number of data points there are. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 data values. I'm going to go to my calculator, type this information in. So it was 5 times 1 plus 6 times 2 plus 3 times 3 plus 3 times 4 plus 1 times 5, or just 5, plus 6. You should get 49, still divided by 19. And 49 over 19 gives me 2.58 when I round. So there's my mean. When I find the median, I'm still trying to find the central value. You can do one of two things. You can find the mean from the graph. What I find is easier, though, is if you just relist the data values from least to greatest. It's a little less confusing. So from the beginning, there's 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 threes. 1, 2, 3. 3 fours. A 5, and a 6. So since I'm finding the median, I'm trying to find the middle point. So just cross off from either end until you get to the point that's directly in the middle, which in this case is 2. And my median is 2. The last thing we need to find is the mode, the one that occurs most often. In this case, it's actually very helpful to look at your dot plot, because all you're going to look for is the data value with the highest column. In this case, 2. 2 is my mode, because it's the one that's most represented. The last question we can ask you about this is to describe the shape of the data and what it means in the context of the situation. Whenever I ask you to describe the shape of a data, I'm asking, is it skewed left or is it skewed right? So in this case, when I look at the data, it's skewed to the right, which means the data extends to the right. Most of the data is clustered around the 1, 2, and 3, and then it extends right. So in answering this question, to describe the shape of the data, I would say the data is skewed right. In this case, it means fewer people have a large number of pairs of shoes. Now, the second part of this question is going to change depending on what the context of the situation is, so just make sure you read carefully. But that is what we are looking for when we ask that type of question.